All right, back in the Metu Netter, still in chapter 6. This is probably the most difficult part of the book thus far. And I'm going to explain why. This is actually coming forth into the creation of animals. This is the creation of everything. This is going from the transformation to oneness to individuality, from the right brain to the left brain, the ability to separate. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do as much reading as possible, because to be honest with you, I don't completely understand it. So I want to at least be able to entertain the thoughts, and even how it's written. You can tell that the author, which again is Ra'un Nefer Amen, is saying this is some next level stuff, and it's even being simplified in this book from trying to grasp all of the intricacies of this process. But where we are right now, animals, like all other members of the world, spirits, deities, humans, vegetables, minerals, are modification of the universal energy matter and pure consciousness of the subjective realm. Remember, the subjective realm is complete oneness. And that this oneness is of origin is the basis of order. It's not order. Remember, you have to have more than one thing to have order. The subjective realm is oneness, so it's not different things. When the universal subject matter differentiates itself to bring forth living things, it dualizes itself into two modes of energy. We got two modes of energy. For simplicity's sake, I will for now simplify the explanation by skipping certain steps and details and state that one of the forces is the source of the thermal, which is heat, which is called Shu. That determines the level of biochemical activities. The other force is the source of hydration, water factor, Tefnut, T-E-F-N-U-T, which represents the universal medium in which all living things dwell, water. The upper and lower boundaries of the thermal factor for specific living forms are relatively denoted as hot and cold. The upper and lower boundaries of hydration of bodies are denoted as moist and dry. Meditation on this subject will show that all biological activities can be reduced and explained by these two modalities. So even then in the book, it's saying you're going to have to read this more than one time, and then you're going to have to meditate on it. So if it's not making sense, and what I hope is you actually have your book of the Metu Netter, and you're kind of going along with the video and the book to kind of get some clarity on, okay, I'm not understanding this. Okay, he's not understanding it either. All right, maybe I'll say something that'll trigger you, or maybe you can leave a message that will trigger me, or we both meditate on it and it'll come to us together. But now we're moving into something that I found interesting. Fire, water, air, and earth, coming out of the modalities of hydration and heat. The interaction of these two factors produces the four modalities underlying all manifestation in the world: fire, water, air, earth. They have been symbolized as the four elements of alchemy. I'm going to slow down and let's hit the four elements of alchemy. 4 elements alchemy. Always keep a computer. I keep my computer, my phone, and my books, dictionaries, generally more than one. A lot of times you'll have words that are not used anymore, or words that are used differently than they were in the past. So those big, thick dictionaries like my mother used to love, if you can find one of those in a bookstore, you may get it for $1 because people don't know what they are anymore. You know, they don't see the value in them. If I find them, I'm getting them. Try to keep all those things around you, but definitely be able to go in. Don't just skip over stuff. Let's talk about the 4 elements of alchemy. Alchemy is the art of conscious transformation. The principal qualitative substances with which the alchemists work are the 4 elements: fire, water, air, and earth. In alchemy and psychology, the third case is the most profound, for the union of opposite elements is the conjunction of opposites. Connucitio opposorium. Latin, I'm not great at. The creation of a higher unity and transcendence of conflicting polarities. Working with the 4 elements, according to the ancients, the first matter has a 4-fold structure, which they attribute to the existence of the 4 archetypal forces or elements of creation, which they named earth, water, air, fire. Something interesting. What are the 4 elements of alchemy? There are actually 5 elements of alchemy: fire, water, air, and earth, and spirit. I like this. What's the 5th point of the alchemy star pentagram symbolize? That's what the 5th point. So the pentagram is actually, now we'll see the pentagram in a lot of places. You'll see it in masonry. You'll see it in quote unquote witchcraft. I believe they say Washington, D.C. is in the shape of a pentagram. And this is the first place I have seen this information, that there are 5 elements of alchemy: fire, water, air, and earth, and spirit, which would imply our spirits are independent from our body, which brings about a good point to meditate on, that if our spirit is independent of the fire, water, air, and earth, how does it come from the subjective energy matter in which fire, air, and earth come from? But maybe that is just part of the separation as it comes out. Let's look a little further. What is alchemy? Alchemy is was a quasi-science that centered on the inherent powers of the 4 elements, which was fire, water, air, and earth. The idea was that the varying combination of these 4 common materials would provide the makings of any element in existence. Alchemy was first utilized in Chem, the ancient name for Egypt, which is also Kemet. Alchemia, K-I-M-I-Y-A, Kemet, K-E-M-E-T. These are different names for Egypt. And although they are far removed in time and sophistication, and at the time did not know it, practitioners provided the foundation for modern chemistry. Finally, chemistry replaced it completely over a relatively brief time span thanks to the intellectual tsunami that was the Renaissance. One of the more legendary aspects of alchemy, the most common belief, is that by mixing the proper materials in the right proportions and performing certain secret rituals, lead or any other metal could be turned into gold. Okay. Another prominent belief was that, like in manner, the philosopher's stone, a mythical rock thought to possess the capacity to prolong the owner's lifespan, could be produced. One thing that I kind of play with is the possibility that nothing is impossible. And things that we talk about as being myths or legends actually occurred, because I don't think, from what we're understanding, whatever is thought can be created. A perfect example is those who believe that the Bible is literal, but they will say, or that it's the actual word of God, but they'll say there's no such thing as unicorns. Unicorns are mentioned several times in the Bible. And then you have people today say, oh, well, they were talking about rhinoceroses. Why didn't they say rhinoceros? These are the types of things that are healthy to entertain. I believe it was Socrates or Aristotle that said the greatest sign of intelligence is the ability to entertain a thought without subscribing to it. We will continue with that. Continue looking into alchemy and the 4 modalities under that, or 5, as we now know, which is the points of the pentagram.